Sold out in minutes. They've gone viral several times over. Looks like we have reached peak Stanley hysteria. But did you know these cups were dead at Stanley until a couple of moms brought them back to life, making these quenchers the must-have item. You're gonna meet those moms right now on MOMCAST. Welcome to MOMCAST. I'm your host, Jade. When you hear Stanley Cup, I bet hockey is your second thought. Your first is probably that water bottle sitting right next to you. Go ahead, pick it up, take a good swig, knowing that what you are drinking out of was made possible by a few moms who thought, man, this thing makes my life easier. So they shared it. Stanley took notice, and they've now become the kind of popular we used to see with Beanie Babies, Furbies, Tickle Me Elmo. The latest drop of these Stanleys, people camped outside of their local Targets. The cup sold out in minutes. Resale prices for the $45 quencher are at $300 online. And again, all because a few moms believed in this product. Check out my interview with the Buy Guide. Honestly, Lindley, this thing keeps going viral. It's wild.
I know it really is. It is crazy, but like one of my favorite videos is, the women waiting outside of Target for those pink and purple Valentine's cup. And, it's like we giggle at the extremists out there, right? You always have those types of people, and yet we love them and we are grateful for them. It is a representation of not only what a color can do, and what a movement can do. Like women selling to women. That is the story of the quencher. That is the story of Stanley expanding as a brand. And I think that's why it continues also.
What on earth is it? What is it?
I think it's because it's a usable product. Everyone can use it. And so as things can, like the story continues to get out about how great the cup is, I think new audiences are reached and they fall in love with it and want to tell the story and why they love it as well. And so it's like this chain of girlfriends saying, oh my gosh, I love this so much. Have you seen this? And it keeps going through, and new audiences are reached all the time. Like you said, celebrities are starting to get a hold of it. And that's really fun for us to see. The other day I spotted LeBron and his wife going to one of his son's football games at USC, and she was holding the Stanley courtside. And I was like, put it in LeBron's hand.
Pass in the cup.
That's what we need. So it's just been, when you're a part of something from the beginning, we kind of feel like one of our kids is doing something really cool and we want to tell them about it. And so we're not surprised by it. We're not surprised by the fact that it keeps going and the longevity of it. Something that we always tell Stanley is that like there is so much runway out in front of us.
But take me all the way back to when this whole conversation with you and your two cousins first started.
Yeah. So we started the Buy Guide in 2017 on a whim. Taylor was like, hey, I'm doing the dang thing. And Ashley and I were like, wait, you can't do it without us. We're all in. And it kind of started. We Googled our way through. It was a lot of trial and error. And the Stanley Cup was one of the OG products. Ashley had bought it, fell in love with it, started gifting it to a ton of people. Gifted it to Taylor and I, and it was so hard to tell people about it because when we wanted to link it on Bed Bath & Beyond, it would sell out. And when we wanted to link it on REI, it would sell out. And so we were like, where is Stanley? Why can hear us? We need this cup in stock. We want to tell all the people that we love it so much. And we, at that time, we were trying to kind of still introduce ourselves. And so the Buy Guide were making curated boxes to well-known people on Instagram. Yeah. And we had selected Emily Maynard. She is in the Bachelor world. And and she lived in North Carolina. And in her box, she was a new mom, and there is no thirst like a nursing mom. And so we included a Stanley Cup in her box. And when she was kind of doing the unboxing on her Instagram, one of the employees at Stanley, Lauren Solomon, who has been a champion from day one, cannot shout her praises loud enough. We love her. Was following Emily and was like, wait a minute, how did this outdoor brand that I work for get in the hands of this mom in North Carolina that I follow? And so Lauren then DM'd us and was like, oh my gosh, tell me why you love the Stanley. How did it get introduced? Just a casual conversation. And there we told her, we want more of this cup. Like, tell Stanley they're marketing to the wrong people. If you market to moms and women, it's going to go insane. And so she was like, you know what? I'm actually going to they were bringing the whole Stanley team together. And she's like, do you mind if I bring this up? So she had the conversation with the team, and that time they just weren't able to put their focus back on this quencher. And so we actually bought their inventory, the buy guide. We put all the money that we had in our little company bank account. We also put in personal money. Our husbands were very questionable about our decision making. They were like, what the heck is happening? Why are we doing this? It's a cup.
Right.
And we just believed in it. We were like, this cup is amazing. It fits in your cup holder. It's dishwasher safe. There's a straw. Like, it holds so much water. We can get all the water that we need in a day. And so that first purchase order that we made, again, Googling our way through, Ashley was Googling every single term on the purchase order when Stanley handed it over. She was like, what does this mean? And we were like, we have no idea. And so we made a purchase order for 5,000 cups.
Yeah.
And it took about 5 days to sell out of those cups. Fun little tidbit. I remember my husband and I were traveling in Thailand at the time. And so because of the time change, we weren't sleeping when we were supposed to. We were up in the middle of the night, and in the middle of the night in Thailand was when we were launching our first 5,000 on our Shopify site, cups. And I was like, here goes nothing's, fingers crossed. And I had turned on the notification of like, I just want to hear when we make a sale. Okay, it might chime a few times here and there, right? And instantly it was like, cha-ching, cha-ching, purchase. And it just was like, oh my gosh, we were right. It was so exciting. We were texting each other like, I can't believe this. And so after 5 days, sold out. And then we were like, wait a minute, I think we can do this again. So I believe our second purchase order was for 7,500 cups, and that sold out in a day. And
Stop it.
yeah, it was crazy. And at that time, it was only, if you remember, it was the white powder Stanley with the black.
I got that. Yes.
And black milky straw.
Yeah.
So it was one color. So it wasn't like this array of SKUs that people could select. It was one cup in one color, and there were 7,500 of them, and we sold through them in a day. By that time, Stanley was like, okay, I think you've got something going here. In the beginning, you had this outdoor retailer essentially that was marketed to the men of the woods. And it made sense to us why this cup wasn't selling for him, right? Like, I have it right here. Cup holder, fits in a cup holder, has a handle and a straw. I'm not hiking with this cup. But, we always told the story of the teachers need this, the nurses at their break station need this to hydrate, moms in their everyday life. Like, we pitch lifestyle hard to Stanley. And the color conversation was really big, or was really hard in the beginning because, and rightfully so, right? You have this 100-year-old company that hammer tone green was what they lived and died by, because your grandpa loves Stanley and the hammer tone green. And so color was scary. But eventually they adapted, they pivoted, they recognized the audience that they had. And kudos to them. And, with our help, we've taken it to the masses. We built this army of influencers, and I think that's what these companies are really leaning into, is like, oh, rather than spending this marketing budget in, you know, a old school way, let's get all these people that are in front of their cameras anyway, selling the products that they love. Let's put a Stanley in their hand. And it kind of went from there. So
When you tell this story
yeah.
and a mom at home hears it, what do you want her to take from it? What do you want her to be inspired by?
Yeah, I actually was talking with a group of friends yesterday, and they were asking all these questions, and my first instinct was to diminish. Was like,
Mhm.
oh yeah, no problem. It's been really cool, but you know, it's crazy. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. And I think that's the biggest message that I want to tell really anyone, is that like, you can do this. And when you actually like set your mind to something, you may need help along the way. There were lots of people that helped along the way. It was not just the buy guide. But when you get the help from others and you actually accomplish something, like, recognize everything that was involved, and also recognize what it took from yourself. Like, we sacrificed in the beginning. We took a huge risk, like financially and you know, for our brand. We really rode hard for this one product, you know. And that was kind of like an aha moment for me yesterday. Gratefully, I have awesome friends who wanted to celebrate with me.
Mhm.
But I was like, you know what? It has been a journey. There have been obstacles. We've kind of found our way through them. We've had to advocate for ourselves like crazy. And we kind of had to separate ourselves. Like, yes, we are three moms. Yes, we did Google our way through those purchase orders, but we have something to say. We know what we're saying, and we know how we want to say it. We get each other. It's like, we know what each other need in one another's lives. I specifically picked my cream cup because I was wearing a cream sweater and my house is cream. So it's like the options are endless. It's fun. It's kind of like a statement, you know, that you're making. It's a conversation starter. You have a portable water cooler per se, you know, at the office, and I love it. So
How did you guys make sure that you weren't just a few moms talking about it, that you made sure that you partnered with Stanley? Because it could be easy as a mom. Yeah, you told people about it, and Stanley's like, oh, great idea, and then just run with it. But you guys have really protected yourselves with this relationship, and you've kept hold of it. How did you do that?
yeah, obviously, you know, in partnerships, you have to have two parties that agree. And luckily, Stanley is a great party. I think that in the beginning, they recognized like, oh, okay, we kind of have to, we want these women on board. We want these women a part of the ride, because look at this environment that they've created. We want them to continue on. And I think they've recognized our value and our access, and the access to our audience, right? The Buy Guide is still one of the top selling influencers for the brand Stanley, which, you know, we're really proud of, because every influencer has latched on to Stanley because it's a great product, right? And we fought for that. We wanted that army of influencers. We celebrate that. Like, there is no territory involved. Like, when an influencer shares Stanley and Stanley wins, the Buy Guide wins, right? And so we're grateful that Stanley has recognized our early risk, our early influence, and our current you know, the things that we bring to the table, the ideas, hey, this is what the audience wants. We talk to them daily. We see what they're buying. We see the colors that they're buying. We see the quantities that they're buying. We see the price point that they're buying in. And so I think for a brand like Stanley, and frankly, any other brand, like Ashley, Taylor, and I, we are Stanley's target market. We are who they want to sell to. So when we bring, you know, our real life experiences and just our consumerism to the table, because of our history, because of our relationship, I think they continue to see, hey, these gals know what they are talking about. And then obviously with the expertise of Stanley's team, right? They have an awesome marketing team. They have an awesome color team. They have an awesome executive team. Like everyone collaborating together, I think is what continues to make the train go.
I think it's such a powerful, inspirational story to moms that like what you're interested in matters, and the voice that you have matters, and the things that you like that matters. And you guys have proven that.
You know, we always say that if you're not marketing to women, you are not marketing to the people who buy for that households, right? Like I buy for my kids, I buy for my husband, I buy for my house, I buy for my friends, I buy for my family, right? So if you're not marketing to me, that is a heck of a lot of people that will never see or engage with your product. And I think that's been really big. And I think also big for other brands to recognize. And also as a consumer, you have power as a consumer, right? Like you dictate where your money goes, and brands have to bend to that to a certain degree, right? Like they all have target audiences, but if you are buying a specific color of a quencher, Stanley recognizes that. Stanley sees that, and they're like, hey, there's still more out there. Let's capture those people. Let's shift it a little bit so it's still new and exciting. Yeah. But the purple lovers of the world need more. And so I think it's fun to think of it in that way too. Like as consumers, of the buyers of the household, we have our own influence within these brands.
When you see videos like the ones that went viral just this last weekend of the Targets getting, I mean, there was one here in Arizona where it sold out in like, I think 4 minutes is what it took. What is going, like, can you even conceptualize the fact that this is only happening because of you guys, because of 3 moms?
Yeah, you know, like we understand that that we open the door, right? We champion that, but we definitely do not ever pretend that it was only because of us.
I think it was.
You're nice. But it never gets old, one. Two, like I said before, it has been our baby. The buy guide, we feel like we have nurtured and loved and watched this baby grow. And so to see it, and to see it continually go, you know, like we are privy, because, you know, we have this awesome relationship with Stanley. Like we are privy to see where the quencher is being purchased, right? And so for a long time, it was strictly west of the Mississippi, but now we're seeing it nationwide. And that's kind of what's very exciting, is that we continually push through like the limits that we see for a while. It's like, oh, that's not our bar anymore, we're above it. Oh, we got that now, that's not our bar, we're going here. It's exciting to see. It never gets old. It brings a smile to my face every time I go to a workout class and the entire cubby is Stanley, and there is an occasional other hydration cup there, and we're like, someone didn't read the room, someone didn't get the memo, but it's fun, it's exciting, and we're really proud.
A lot of articles that I've been reading, I mean, like I said, it's gone viral within the last week, and I saw the Huffington Post did something. Of course, NBC is doing something. All of their articles are talking about how this is such a major lesson in marketing.
Yes.
What lesson do you think that is?
Always in like first, women selling to women. I think recognizing the power of influencer marketing. like, I don't know specific numbers, but everyone shops while they're scrolling through Instagram. Like, it is huge. And I think recognizing, because it's, for the most part, influencers share so much of their life, right? So when a consumer or when a follower sees, oh my gosh, she isn't just pushing this one time. She's not just trying to make a sale. I don't see that she's just partnered with Stanley, so that's why they're pushing this product, but that it's actually become like an active part of people's life. Like, it's in the background. Like you said, you see all these celebrities, like, they're not pushing Stanley. They have not been paid by Stanley for the most part. They are just genuinely carrying the cup around because they love it and it checks all their boxes. And so I think getting it into the hands of real people in their everyday life, I think, you know, it ebbs and flows, and there is a place for these perfectly placed, curated, beautiful images and marketing tools, right? Or commercials or advertisements. Like, there is a place for that. I'm not saying, you know, gone are the days, but I don't look like this all the time. Like, I don't get ready all the time. I am in mom mode. I am in joggers and a sweatshirt. And so if you see me in everyday life doing everyday things, I feel like it's relatable.
Yeah.
It's practical, and it's useful. Like, you need to drink out of a really cute cup.
These things continue to go viral. Everyone feels like they want one.
Yep.
What was your biggest pinch me moment with this whole Stanley ride?
I think Adele. I think, and it's random, right? Because another thing you have to remember is, like, and I know it's probably weird to imagine being so passionate about a cup, but we really believed in this cup for so long.
For years.
Yeah. And so it's almost like, you know, like when you're in a fight with, you know, let's just say your spouse, and they're like, you said this. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And somewhere, like, magical proof, like, lays in your lap, and you just, like, maybe send a little text, or you just lay it on the kitchen counter, like, I told you so, or something like that. That's kind of what we feel this quencher is. It's like, we knew it, we were right, and our gut was spot on, and it's just fun to see. But seeing Adele in Carpool Karaoke, that we were such big fans of,
Oh my gosh,
just take a sip from her quencher, we were like, it's like we're like game on. Like, it's gonna go forever.
You can, of course, follow along with the Buy Guide on Instagram. I'm telling you, everything these guys endorse somehow turns to magic, and it shows the power of motherhood. Thanks for watching this episode of MOMCAST. The conversation continues over on social media. You can find me on Instagram at EmmaJadeTV. I'll see you there.